Okay, this is Principle of Microeconomics, Homework 1, Preview, Question 1 to 5. Question 1. The basic concern of microeconomics is to A. Keep business firms from losing money. B. Prove that capitalism is better than socialism. C. Study the choices people make. D. Use unlimited resources to produce goods and services to satisfy limited wants. Now, if you have looked at our lecture notes, basically because of scarcity, resources are scarce. So we as human beings on this earth have to make choices. The resources not enough, right, to satisfy all of our wants. So that's the basic starting point. And you may think, businesses don't want to lose money, right? The question may be, why don't they do not want to lose money? So there's a deeper reason, right? So this choice A is something true, but it is not the answer to the question. The question asks about the basic concern of microeconomics. You have to think about what is the motivation, right? Why do we study microeconomics? B. Prove that capitalism is better than socialism. That's not the purpose here. There may be a special course for that, but we will kind of part of the conclusion for part of this course will be that idea, but that is not the basic concern. Rather, I think it is exactly this basic concern of actually limited resources, not unlimited resources, and unlimited wants. This basic concern make market economy, or sometimes we also say it's capitalism. And there's somewhat a distinction, but anyway, make market economy more effective in producing goods and services than socialism. At least that's what we have learned from human history. Okay, that's how much I will talk about this one. And remember, the idea is limited resources, right? And human society have unlimited wants. So we have to make choice. Okay, still deal with scarcity. Question number 2. Scarcity in economics means that. What does it mean? Well, we actually just talked about it. It's in our lecture notes here. Right? Something in limited supply. And look at A. We often do not have sufficient resources to achieve our objectives. By and large, that's the idea, right? B. Scarcity. The wants of people are limited. People always want more. Always. And sometimes you have enough, and then you want something different. And once you find that something different, you want more. C. There must be poor people in rich countries. This one is kind of almost true. Again, it doesn't answer that question, right? In rich countries, there are poor people, right? Must be or not, we don't know, but I think it's a fact. There are poor people, but also the poverty concept is a relative term, all right? A lot of people in America may consider themselves poor. All right, they don't think they have a lot of stuff, or don't have enough resources. But uh, for what they have, if you put them into some other countries, they can be viewed as very rich. All right, I talked about the why C may not be the right answer. Now think about a D, scarcity. Okay, shortages exist in nearly all markets. Uh, what is shortages? Right? It just means what the market can provide is less than how much people want in that market. Shortage in the market may exist, may not exist. Sometimes there's surplus, right? What people bring to the market to sell is more than what people want. So it's kind of similar idea, right? Shortages, scarcity, similar, but it is not the definition of the scarcity that we talk about in economics. All right, question number 3. Fresh water is considered a scarce good because why fresh water is scarce? A. Not enough of it is available for all needs. A is by and large the definition of scarcity. Right? Again, right? Resources scarce when there's not enough of the resource available to satisfy all the various ways a society wants to use it. So that's by and large the definition. We are okay with it, or we should be okay with it. Now look at B. It does not have any use. This is obviously wrong statement. You can say, maybe it's a better question, say it has limited use, something like that. But, we need fresh water. Fresh water is essential to modern civilization, especially in cities. Okay? If you don't have fresh water at home, your home will stink. That's a basic fact. And people know that. Human beings know that from ancient history. Very ancient time in Rome, they have running water into the cities. Okay, look at C. Scarce goods are not expensive. A lot of goods are scarce and expensive. So again, this one, is essentially trying to lure you into thinking, fresh water is not that expensive, and it's sort of relate to scarce goods. It's kind of, the way they create this alternative is to say one thing and talk about its feature, right? Fresh water, not expensive. Kind of put these two things together to make it into some kind of statement, which is not really related to the question. Okay. Actually, really depends on where you are in the world, right? Fresh water can be very expensive if it's in a desert country. Depends on the technology, right? Whether they can get fresh water from, let's say, salty water, it will be kind of very expensive. Okay, D. Fresh water. Not enough of it available for all needs, and because it is not expensive. Again, it's sort of play with this idea of inexpensive. First of all, inexpensive may not be universally true for fresh water. Okay, and even for where it is inexpensive, not very expensive, sometimes we are still advised to save fresh water. There were droughts, years of droughts in California, and people were told to save water, not to watering their lawns. Okay, So that's how much I would like to say about question 3. Now look at question 4. When a chef prepares a dinner for a customer, which factor is physical capital? Let's look at the related concepts. Resource. There can be land. It's actually a kind of capital. Labor. The time of workers. Okay, labor is kind of simpler task, or easy to learn tasks, and you repeat. Now, capital is machinery, buildings, and other man-made productive assets, meaning those assets you can use them repeatedly, okay, to produce either goods or services. And then human capital, all of these are resources. The educational achievements and the skills of workers. So human capital is something beyond labor, right? You cannot kind of get the human capital by simple training. It takes years to study, to refine the skills, to improve the efficiency, okay, improve the accuracy of the human skills. So those are the kind of different resources we're talking about. And here we want to know, for a chef, which factor is physical capital? It's the machinery we are talking about. So if you look at the chef himself or herself, that's human capital. Okay. The oven is not a human being, and it is something of value that can be repeatedly used to produce dinner. So that can be considered a physical capital. Now C is a little bit tricky. The food ingredients. In economics, we call this kind of stuff you put into production, use them, and then you have to restock them, right? Once the dinner is eaten, you need to buy new ingredients. Those are called inputs, okay? The stuff you use to produce other goods. Or sometimes it's stuff you use to provide services. Okay. So food ingredients, yes, the chef use these inputs to produce dinner, but they will be gone for the next dinner, right? The oven is still there. Now look at D, the chef's training and experience. Okay, that is exactly human capital. Now question 5. Mongo spends $30,000 on 1 year's college tuition. The opportunity cost of spending 1 year in college for Mongo is. So this one asks you to apply the concept of opportunity cost. And in our lecture notes, okay, I noted opportunity cost is larger than the monetary cost of the chosen action alone. Because basically from the textbook discussion, it is 1, the monetary cost of the chosen action. Okay, Zuckerberg dropped out from Harvard and build Facebook as a business. That's one part. There's the chosen action is drop out from Harvard, and there's certainly a monetary cost, right, for him to start a business. And then the net benefit from alternative action is go through the Harvard education, right? For Zuckerberg, right? There's a net benefit from that. So it's the two together, right? There's a monetary cost and there's net benefit. In this example, I need to point out that the monetary cost of starting Facebook can be higher than the Harvard tuition, right? So in this example, in the Zuckerberg example in the textbook, the Harvard tuition itself is not really involved in the opportunity cost to start Facebook. But in question 5, we have a different situation, okay? The chosen action, not the alternative, okay? The chosen action is go to college. The chosen action is go to college. So the monetary cost for go to college is part of the opportunity cost. And then there is something beyond money alone, right? So there should be something extra. Now look at D. This can be a trick for picking up the answer, the longest one. The right answer is the longest one, right? You can go with D directly. D says yes, the $30,000 plus whatever she would have earned had she not been in college. Okay. So the outside net benefit, not being in college, is also part of the opportunity cost to go to college. Meaning, Margot can go to a restaurant, work as a waitress, or some other jobs, maybe a acting career that can make a lot more money, right, than a waitress. But that part, okay, that part is something have to giving up as well, besides the $30,000 for the choice of going to college. Okay, so now I don't need to go through A, B, C choices. They're not very meaningful. And that's question 1 to 5 for homework 1.